Let's get right into it.
Number 6.
The Dybbuk box. Okay, imagine this. You buy an old wine cabinet off eBay because what could possibly go wrong with secondhand furniture? Worst case, it smells like someone's grandma's basement. Best case, you've scored a quirky conversation piece for your living room. Unless, of course, that box happens to be the infamous Dybbuk box, allegedly haunted by a restless Jewish spirit that really doesn't want you storing your Merlot inside. This thing first went viral when a guy bought it at an estate sale, opened it, and immediately started experiencing fun little side effects like night terrors, hair falling out, and electronics short-circuiting around him. Sounds like a bad Tuesday, right? But then everyone who owned it reported some combination of bad luck, health problems, and things in my house moving by themselves. Honestly, the only thing scarier than a cursed box is knowing you willingly clicked buy now on haunted home decor. Psychologically, here's what's happening. It's a perfect storm of expectation bias and the nocebo effect. If you think something's cursed, your brain and body might actually start producing symptoms, headaches, nausea, freakouts, basically like your brain cosplaying as a paranormal activity director. Add in some sleep paralysis, creaky floorboards, and your imagination doing the Macarena, and suddenly you're starring in your very own horror movie. So, is the Dybbuk box really haunted? Probably not. But if you start coughing while looking at it, don't blame the spirit, blame the asbestos.
Number 5. The Crying Boy painting. Here's a fun decorating idea. Hang up a painting of a weeping child in your house and then watch your living room spontaneously combust. For decades, a mass-produced print called The Crying Boy was linked to hundreds of mysterious house fires in the UK. Every time a building burned down, reporters would find this exact same sad little face staring out of the ashes, unharmed like some weird survivor who knows more than he's telling. Firefighters swore it was cursed because, while entire homes reduced to charcoal, this painting would often be the only thing left intact. Which is creepy, sure, but also kind of hilarious. Imagine losing everything you own except for the depressing wall art you never liked anyway. Thanks, demon child. Scientists, again, tried to ruin everyone's fun with logic. They discovered that the paintings were coated in a flame-retardant varnish, which made them extremely resistant to fire. So instead of demonic child spirit laughing at your insurance claim, it was just good old-fashioned chemistry. Still, psychology kicked in. Once the newspapers gave it the cursed label, people started connecting random tragedies to the painting, feeding into mass hysteria. So yeah, it's not technically cursed, but if your living room bursts into flames while you're watching this, maybe don't blame the toaster. Blame the sad child you hung above your sofa for aesthetic.
Number 4. The Bassano vase. Picture this. You're getting married in Italy in the 1400s. Everything smells like fresh bread and wine, and some well-meaning family member gifts you a beautiful silver vase. Nice, right? Wrong, because the bride who received this vase died on her wedding night. And then, apparently, everyone who owned it after her also mysteriously dropped dead, which is a pretty strong Yelp review for avoid this product. Fast forward a few centuries, and the vase kept reappearing, passed down from family to family like a hot potato of doom. Each new owner reportedly died within weeks or months of touching it. Eventually, someone had the brilliant idea to just bury the thing, out of sight, out of mind, until, of course, it resurfaced again in the 1980s because humans never learn. When it reappeared, an auction house sold it for a hefty price tag, conveniently skipping the, oh, by the way, this kills people part of the sales pitch. The buyer died within months. Same thing happened to the next owners. Finally, police allegedly locked the vase away in a secret location, possibly in a lead box, because apparently that's how you contain evil silverware. Scientists don't exactly have a peer-reviewed paper on angry Italian wedding vases, but they do know humans are wired to look for patterns. If enough bad stuff happens near an object, your brain goes, oh yeah, it's definitely that. And then you've got yourself a legend that keeps going for 600 years. So yeah, cursed? Probably not. But if you ever find an antique silver vase at a flea market, maybe just stick to the teacups.
Number 3.
The chair of death. Imagine walking into a pub, seeing an old wooden chair and thinking, yeah, I want to sit there. Except this particular chair in North Yorkshire is rumored to kill anyone who parks their butt in it. No joke, it's literally called the chair of death. Subtlety clearly wasn't invited to this party. The legend says a convicted murderer cursed the chair before his execution in the 1700s, declaring that anyone who sat in it would soon meet their maker. And, according to lore, dozens of people who tried it out later died in bizarre accidents. Construction workers, soldiers, delivery guys. One man reportedly sat in it, then got hit by a truck that same afternoon. Which sounds less like paranormal revenge and more like, well, British traffic. The pub eventually got so spooked that they bolted the chair to the wall, about 6 feet off the ground, so no one could sit in it anymore. That's right, the death chair is now a decorative floating shelf, which is both hilarious and genius, because nothing says deadly cursed object like putting it right next to your dartboard. Scientists would say this is another case of coincidence plus suggestibility. People sat in the chair, then normal, everyday accidents happened. But once the story spread, each accident looked way creepier than it really was. Psychologically, it's the power of expectation. You convince yourself something bad will happen, and suddenly every stubbed toe feels like an omen. But here's the kicker. Even if you don't believe in curses, the chair still works. Because if someone told you, hey, this chair kills people, are you really going to sit down? No? Exactly. Fear itself is the curse. And in this case, it saves the pub money on replacing worn-out furniture.
Number 2. The Hope Diamond. Ah yes, the big, shiny rock that allegedly ruins lives. The Hope Diamond is a 45-carat deep blue diamond worth hundreds of millions today. But according to legend, it's been cursed since the 17th century when it was supposedly stolen from a sacred temple idol in India. And from there, its owner has had a rough time. Deaths, bankruptcies, beheadings during the French Revolution. Basically, the diamond was like carrying around your own personal bad Yelp review from fate. Marie Antoinette and Louis XVI were rumored victims. A bunch of wealthy collectors met tragic ends, and newspapers absolutely milked the story because nothing sells like a cursed jewel dripping with royal blood. But here's the unsexy truth. Historians say most of those cursed stories were made up by jewelers trying to hype up the diamond's notoriety. Like, yes, it's expensive, but it also might kill you. Better buy fast before it gets someone else. Marketing genius. From a psychology angle, though, the Hope Diamond curse is fascinating because it's really about envy. People love to believe the rich can't enjoy their luxuries without paying some cosmic price. It's the universe's way of balancing the books. Like, oh, you have millions? Here's a guillotine. Whether or not you believe in curses, it feels satisfying to imagine rich people suffering from their own sparkly trinkets. These days, the Hope Diamond lives safely in the Smithsonian, and no one's keeled over in the gift shop. So maybe the curse wore off. Or maybe it's just waiting for the next greedy hand. Either way, if you're offered a cursed diamond, maybe just settle for cubic zirconia. Number 1.
Otzi, the Iceman's Curse. Imagine hiking through the Alps and stumbling across a 5,300-year-old frozen corpse. Most people would scream, run, and never speak of it again. But in 1991, hikers found Otzi the Iceman, one of the best preserved mummies ever discovered. He came with tattoos, tools, and, apparently, a taste for vengeance. Because soon after his discovery, the people involved started dropping like flies. First, the lead pathologist who examined him died in a car crash. Then another researcher died of a brain tumor. A mountaineer who guided scientists to the body fell to his death. Even a filmmaker making a documentary about Otzi died unexpectedly. Over the years, at least 7 people connected to him died under unusual circumstances, fueling the legend of Otzi's curse. Now, scientists will tell you there's nothing supernatural about this. Being an archaeologist or mountaineer is already a high-risk career. Slippery glaciers, avalanches, exposure to ancient pathogens. It's like mixing Indiana Jones with a Darwin Award. But once a few accidents piled up, the human brain did what it always does, turned coincidence into cosmic payback. Psychologically, Ötzi's curse is irresistible because it plays into our love of narrative symmetry. We dug up a man who clearly didn't want to be disturbed, and bam, instant karma. Your brain ties all the tragic dots together and makes a spooky picture even if the dots don't really connect. It's the same trick conspiracy theories use, just with more mummies and less Facebook arguing. But whether you chalk it up to probability or paranormal justice, Ötzi still sits in a museum in Italy, silently judging every tourist who takes a selfie with him, which honestly might be the scariest part. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.